everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of Women of Zal, so let's get into this fight! Yaxida didn't even get the chance to consider the possibility that she may have been over her head. From Velvet's back sprang 4 dragonfly-like wings composed of vibrant translucent purples and blues. With a burst of radiant energy propelling her body forward, Yaxida instinctively raised her arms to block the incoming strike. Hearing you and Calanis coming up from behind, Velvet spun above and behind Yaxida so Calanis could punch Yaxida's arm aside and deck her perfectly in the middle of her face. Marixa had purple ice spring up from the ground below to lift you high in the air, and Velvet grabbed Yaxida, who was staggered and pushed back. You couldn't see Velvet's face, but you knew she must have derived great satisfaction from tossing Yaxida over her head and slamming her to the ground before letting her wings rush her away, giving you the opportunity to throw your lance down at the prone Yaxida from your ice tower. While Yaxida's pained expression shifted to anger, she rolled to her hands and knees. Without time to spare, she looked up at your incoming lance and conjured a thin arcane shield with sigils of unknown origin. Just when you wondered whether or not your lance would be able to pierce through such an unknown spell, it happened. Loops of purple Zala, straighted with a glass-like material, made a path for your weapon to fly through. You could feel your weapon gaining both momentum and power. It dove through the shattered and mystical substance within each circle until its explosive force overwhelmed the entire area around Yaxida. Once you landed, you looked at Axe, who grinned with a mad glee as she gave you a thumbs up while her glowing hand faded to normal, the airborne purple loops vanishing at the same time. Yo, I was expecting this to last much, much, much longer, or at least twice as long, but y'all weren't playing games. Everyone regrouped around you and Yexa while the dust continued to obscure any sightings of Yaxida. I was hoping to punch her a few more times, but of course, such indulgence would be naught but superfluous.
Well, at least you were able to hit the woman. I only helped Zena.
Hey, don't think of it like that. You totally made it look like Yaxida was the victim of a planned and practiced attack.
Yes, but part of my training went towards long-range improvisation. Though if I had known Yaxida was so easy to topple, I'd have acted a bit more selfishly.
And I might not have overdone it with the wings. Nah, girl. That was the entire reason we fucked shit up. While everyone was descending into idle chatter, Noxia and Yaxida looked towards the field of dust. You sense that too?
Afraid so. How uncouth.
I'll handle it.
Thank you. But I think it is imperative that I am the one to take care of this unfortunate development.
What are you two talking about? Before your question could be answered, a sweating Yaxida appeared in front of you, her body injured all over and her eyes seething with wrath, with a fist coming straight at you. Even before it connected, you could feel it was a strong hit, amplified with magic, an attack that would surely cause near-grave injury at the very least. But then Yaxida's fist stopped, mere inches away from your face. The strange moment gave you a chance to look at the situation. Yaxida hadn't just appeared in front of you. From beneath her feet to all the way where she had lain was a freshly formed smoking line, burnt into the ground. It was also the same magic Noxia had just used to get between you and Yaxida's wrist, holding in place before she could harm you.
Do you know why I decided against fighting you? Because as I charged with my fellow apprentices, I realized I was the weakest among us. Yet I still outclass you. So, to see your reaction in such a wildly dangerous manner towards my peers has put me in an unkind mood.
She forced Yaxida's body closer to her, close enough for their noses to almost be touching.
But because I respect Zuna, I'm going to assume you didn't realize that the sweat of your brow has long marked the end of your wager with Lady Yexa. And out of due respect for you, I am willing to also assume you did not just ignore the fact that you lost and did not, in fact, get over it. Because such a regrettable timeline would require justice.
With an arcanic flourish of magic, Noxia shoved Yaxida away with her right hand and had her tumbling back into the same spot your lance originally landed in.
Well, seems you have made quite a bit of gold on your wager, Lady Yexa.
50. Remind me to invest in y'all in the future. It's the least I can do for all the free money you just gave me. Take a moment to relax, everyone. I'll talk to Yaxida about my gold. Meet her wife while I'm at it. I want to see the kind of woman that would date a person like her.
Sure, we can do that.
Well, this little venture provided to be far more fascinating than I could have ever hoped. Everyone took Yax's advice and enjoyed both the respite and disappointment on Yaxida's final lesson. Velvet enjoyed it arguably too much.
We did it! It's so odd to think that she once felt so unstoppable.
It feels like I can take on anyone at the moment. We did great. That we did. I dare say I could kiss someone from the excitement. I volunteer. No, we cannot do that. Who knew we could grow so strong in such a short time? Yaxa had it coming. We could grow so strong. Certainly not I. I always thought songbirds were more showy than anything, but Yaxa sure showed me otherwise. Yes, your display was most impressive. You've only been a bird for a few minor cycles, have you not? Exactly. I'm excited to nail the intricacies to the fighting style.
I mustn't admit, how you flew around the battlefield is the most inspiring I've seen you, Velvet.
A compliment from you is weird, but welcomed. By the way, you packed a serious punch out there, Glannis. I didn't know you were so strong. A complicated story, surely, but let's not focus on my curiosities. Besides, we shouldn't ignore the fact that Lady Zuna and Noxia are having a private conversation over there. I was wondering when you kids would notice. Sure enough, the two were standing in front of the window and having a quiet chat between themselves. Call out, are we interrupting something? Can any of you hear what they're saying? What could you two cuties possibly be talking about? I don't want to interrupt them, that's rude. But let's see if anybody can eavesdrop. I can. Sounds private, though, so I'll have to keep it to myself. What? Noxia turned her head to face the group.
I hadn't realized we had an audience.
So it would seem. No matter, I've said my piece. She made sure to catch the eyes of all the apprentices, save Noxia. Indulge yourselves these next few cycles, for I will be announcing my heir sooner than later.
I see. So it's time.
Wait, so a few major cycles or microcycles? Sleep cycles. Lady Zuna. Sleep cycle? Surely you meant microcycle. Absolutely not. All such a label accomplishes is proving that those scientists were no linguists. I think properly measuring the distance found in the tales of time entitles said scientists to accurate naming conventions. Yes, it did, and fortunately for those with an inkling of concern for language, chose not to adhere to such a palpable mistake. Yeah, Lady Zuna, go off. A bit strange that I should find myself the only one on Clannis' side here, though. Despite the burst of excitement, the conversation died down to an odd mix of peace and accomplishment.
A victory well earned, everyone. Will anyone be joining me for a meal?
Count me in, and probably everyone else, too. Yaxida may have lost, but such a fight sure left me hungry. Well, well, well. I knew you young folks had it in you, but not even I knew how handedly you'd humble that braggart. Zuna sure knows how to pick 'em.
I must confess to having a little bit of pride over her defeat.
Terrifying what a little bit of real training has done for us. But more impressively is how hard it is to remember you're quite a bit older than the rest of us. Stones don't crack. Vicia had stealthily slipped into the conversation, feeling her way towards the chair the group reserved for her.
Oh, I'm sure if you hit one hard enough, they'll feel a fissure in that claim.
Are you finally challenging me?
Oh, I couldn't.
She sat down and looked into Yex's general direction.
I'm a stubborn old thing. I'd only keep trying to win.
Aw, but you seem so peaceful most of the time, when you're not cutting down enemies. That's because she is a woman who knows almost nothing of fear. You Greys are awfully good at sneaking around. Nor sat down as the conversation continued. Stealth has its uses. It proved quite instrumental during times of war.
Hey, that mean we can talk some war stories? You know, if, you three are okay sharing those memories.
I have no particular regrets over my time in war-torn skies.
You're in luck, Axe.
Not only do I have stories about taking on some freaking amazing warriors, not only do I not mind sharing them, but one features the time I had to team up with Poxju Quinn.
My mom?
Gosh damn Drippy. Drippy? Jiffy? Jippy? I do. So about your mom. The story ended up being more interesting than any of you could have hoped for. See, what happened was... So we don't get to actually know? Such a beautiful tale. You went to sleep dreaming peacefully.
Hey, we're coming in.
Oh, okay. Maybe you guys can come in the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.